Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for February 20th, 2021. With your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
We have fun things to talk about.
Yep.
Incredibly fun things. Because we have a full-on Nintendo Direct, and before we get into all that, I need to say something, because I've seen this. I've seen that some people weren't that impressed with the Direct, which is fine, I guess, if you didn't come out of that with anything you were interested in at all. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Fair.
But do people realize that there have been Nintendo presentations that, while they weren't full directs, still had stuff they showed off in the last 2 years?
I feel like the biggest problem with this one was everyone went in expectations way too high.
Fair. Because I didn't.
I mean, I was loosely paying attention to the 15,000 mile an hour chat that was going on there, and
I didn't even bother.
People were wanting to really see something Breath of the Wild 2. They were really wanting to see something Prime 4. Basically all the big stuff that we know Nintendo's working on, but we're not there yet.
Right. And like, I know someone, Long's Toys, that I've been in the Twitch stream of recently, because he's been doing like late night Fortnite, and my sleep schedule is fucked. So, hey, look, I just stay up and watch Fortnite until I decide to go to bed. He was disappointed because they didn't announce the Prime Trilogy.
Or
anything about the Prime Trilogy.
That's the thing that's puzzling me, because back before the change of hands was announced for Prime 4, there was those rumors going around that the Prime Trilogy was actually ready to be released.
Right.
I was fully at the point of, we gave them a little bit of time now. I was kind of at the point where I was expecting, we might hear something about that. Even if it's a summer kind of release. To kind of tie everyone over until next year when we get to see Prime 4. Like, I was fully going into this being like, yeah, we're probably still not going to see Prime 4. It's probably not ready thanks to last year.
Yeah.
Same reason why Breath of the Wild 2 more than likely isn't coming out next month like I would think they probably planned, having it as an anniversary kind of concept. But instead now probably being pushed to next year within the same time slot.
I have a thing about Breath of the Wild 2's release, but I'm going to wait till we talk about the Direct proper. Because there's going to be a very weird coincidence that I think might be on purpose, if that's the case.
But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect Breath of the Wild 2. I hardcore wasn't expecting like Odyssey 2 or anything off the wall 3D Mario wise that way.
I was about to say, I don't like, usually Marios are pretty few or pretty like far between, aren't they?
Usually.
Date wise?
Well, and we're coming right off of the Mario anniversary and going into what should be considered the Zelda anniversary. That's one of those why seeing Skyward Sword being coming over. Yeah, that's about as good as we're probably gonna get.
Yeah, there's some. Okay, being in Long's stream actually got me talking about like that exact thing and other stuff, because he brought up something that could have done, but I was like, I don't know if you can do that reasonably, like the other collections. But again, we'll get there.
If it's the thing that I'm thinking, they probably could have. Especially seeing as how trademarks for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess have kind of been being passed around again.
Oh, I was about to say a 3D Zelda collection?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, exactly that.
They could have done that with Skyward Sword being the third one.
Granted, I was reading something where somebody pointed out that, like, yeah, these trademark things happen all the time and no news ever comes of it, so don't hold out your hopes.
I'm thinking that one probably will wind up being that. Mostly because of the fact that I don't know if they would have been able to have ported those two over because of last year. I think if everything went fine last year, we probably would have, even if it wasn't a 3D Zelda collection, we probably would have got all three of them announced. It is what I'm kind of thinking. I feel like last year's kind of muddled up Nintendo a little harder than they meant for it to, and yeah, we're still seeing it.
I mean, I have to think that plus like Prime Force development getting mucked up so hard, I have to think has shuffled around their plans a little bit at this point.
I have to wonder on that, because I mean, yeah, that did throw one major release out the window.
Right.
But truthfully, if the Prime Trilogy's really ready to go out, then there's not really anything holding them back.
True.
So it makes me wonder if that rumor of it actually being ready was wrong, and maybe they were actually starting work on it at that point. Well,
I've heard something, and I had the thought that I told Long's Toys on Twitter. I've seen the thought of, we're making a lot of assumptions about the Prime Trilogy being ported to Switch when there is no evidence of it.
And that's the reason why I'm like, I wonder if maybe that rumor was misconstrued and not it's ready, it's they're getting ready to do that.
Or it's wrong, and we've all made an ass of ourselves expecting a thing that doesn't exist.
Yes and no. Seeing as how Nintendo loves doing their remakes, it feels fitting.
Yeah.
Because we did skip an entire console without having a true Metroid Prime game for it. So I could see the trilogy being the thing to be like, okay, if you own a Switch and you haven't played this yet, here. Then go in and play 4.
Yeah. And that leads to the thing I told Long's Toys, is that I assume that they're waiting for a hard date development-wise for Prime 4 to put out the trilogy, to guarantee that Prime 4 is going to come out a certain amount of time after the trilogy comes out.
Which we've said the same thing.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm wondering... They have to at least have some kind of a window at this point of when they figure 4 is going to be done.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case, then why didn't we see the trilogy at least announced for a window right now? Unless it's actually not ready yet.
True. It might not be ready.
Like, the only other alternative to that would be if the Prime 4 window's at the end of next year. Then they might be waiting until closer to the end of this year to be like, okay, this is coming somewhere around here.
Yeah, because I have thoughts about like things they said in this direct in reference to future releases, like that were there at the show and weren't at the show, which is weird. But then I got reminded about something, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. But again, we'll get to that. But I guess before we get into the direct proper, is there anything like you've been playing the last couple of weeks you want to talk about before we talk about the direct?
Or like the next hour, as we normally do.
Yeah.
How we managed to spend the same amount of time as the directs, if not longer. I did pick up Memory of Heroes.
Ooh, how you feeling? How you liking Memory of Heroes?
I'm noticing the Switch does have some graphical bugs, but it seems to be in cutscenes. And it's like background graphical bugs. So
All those cutscenes are in engine, so that's weird. No, those cutscenes are
pre-rendered. Angles or something kind of deal.
Probably.
The pre-rendered ones, there's no problems. It's clearly the in-game engine ones that it's like sometimes the engine just can't handle it.
Yeah.
But it's nothing major, and it's usually a blink and you miss it kind of deal. So for all I know, it might actually be in the PS4 one too.
Yeah, I didn't really notice anything, but I wasn't looking that hard.
I mean, there was one of them that it's like, no, you probably would have noticed. That had to be Switch performance at that point. But
yeah,
everything else that's been a blink and you miss it, you might kind of catch it out of the corner of the screen or something at random. But otherwise, yeah, I'm liking it. The combat feels so fluid.
Oh god, yeah, like okay, I found the new Toku podcast to listen to. They do theirs on like Sundays, and like last week they were talking about Saber. And I think it was like one of the people they had on like one of the Bluefin streams, because I was following them on Twitter and I saw a notification about them going live, and I was just like, who are you? Hang on, let me go watch the stream real quick. Oh, you were on one of the Bluefin streams. Okay. And I hung out in there and like talked to them a little bit. But the two of them mentioned like wanting like a 3v3, like more or less anime fighter for Ryder. And I'm just thinking, you more or less want the combat from this game for an anime fighter.
If we had that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, give it to Arc System Work. They know what the fuck they're doing. I say that about like Platinum too. Like, if you want an action Rider game, go give it the fucking Platinum. They'll knock it out of the park.
It's one of those that I know how much you wound up loving 01's combat once you got there, and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I've gotten to play around with double and O's, and it's like, yeah. I could completely see how this would be immensely fun with 01.
Yeah. Yeah, like, for as much as he's not a part of the plot of that game, he's built for that game. And I'm actually kind of glad he doesn't have, like too many forms with him, because it makes swapping between all of his forms, like, really easy to, like, think about and go, okay, I'm going to swap to this, since you don't have, like 12 some odd forms to choose from.
Right.
And it's like really fast too, because you're not trying to like get to the specific angle on the analog stick. You're just like left, right, up, down, boom, done. I'm as much as I hate to say this, I'm kind of glad Shining Hopper's not here to make me go at a diagonal for this.
Fair.
Like, I hate saying that because I love Shining Hopper, but oh well. I finally beat the main story of Age of Calamity.
Nice.
I might have dunked on the boss a lot.
Oh,
or the bosses a lot.
Completely. Yeah. Completely can understand that.
I might have had too much fun dunking on them. But I'm through the main story, and now I'm working on unlocking like the first of the two characters, which is, as we talked about, Terako, since you know that.
Yep.
I can't say the second character because I don't want to spoil that for you. But unfortunately, I'll probably be taking a break from Age of Calamity because I have another Muso game to play next week. Because Persona 5 Strikers comes out next week.
Ah.
So I'm picking that up, and like whenever it gets in from Amazon, because I'm going to get it off Amazon, and I'm also going to pay for the fast shipping, because I'm like, I'd like it here as soon as possible.
Fair.
Because thankfully, because, you know, sold my grandparents' house, I think I can afford to pay for the really fast shipping from Amazon. So I'm just going to pick it up and be like, well, I'm playing this for the next like week, because I like my Persona. even though some stuff in Persona could like not exist, please. They're pretty like if you want to know why I say that, I'm not gonna like get into the whole spiel of it, but pretty much look up Reset Era. Is it Reset Era? It's Reset Era. What's one thing about? I want to say it's that. I think it's Reset Era. It's a forum thread. It's a forum thread on one of the major gaming forums that details all of the not very progressive things that are in Persona 3 and 4, and a little bit in 5, because there's not as much in 5, thankfully. Yeah. It's kind of it's that kind of stuff. I'm like, we have Persona 4 Golden on PC now. Can we just mod the game to like remove this shit? Can we like scrub this game clean of this garbage?
Oh yeah, I forgot about something else that I picked up.
Oh, what?
It was kind of I was gonna go for one and I wound up getting both. But both the Crash and Spyro remakes. Steam had it for $50 and I'm like, yep, sure.
Oh, the trilogy stuff?
Yep.
Nice.
I found that I'm actually pretty good at Spyro and suck at Crash, which is no surprise.
Yeah, Crash is a pretty like precise platformer when you get down to it sometimes. Spyro, not so much.
But yeah, I did the dumb of getting that, both of those, and then turning around and getting Memory of Heroes. So needless to say which ones I've not touched too much so far.
Yeah. I have not played much else, to be honest, outside of like grind out challenges and stuff on Fortnite, so I can get the battle pass done. I feel weird that they have this bounty hunter theme and there's only so many bounty hunter crossover stuff that they've done. Because like the last two are like Tron, specifically Tron Legacy and Street Fighter. And I'm like, okay, you did generic characters in the Tron Legacy suits. I don't think anyone in Tron is a bounty hunter. And Ryu and Chun-Li are not bounty hunters. Ryu's just a guy that likes to fight people, and Chun-Li's a cop. So like, okay, sure, whatever. Also, I think Chief counts in this, and Chief is also not a bounty hunter.
Fair.
Which I'm waiting for that Halo bundle to come back into the shop. If it comes back in the shop, I'll be disappointed if it doesn't. Because I have bookmarked stuff I want from Fortnite shop and want to see if it comes back in. One of them came back in, but I missed it because I missed the saxophone emote. Yeah, it was yesterday actually. I apparently missed it on reset. I was like, fuck. Anyway, to the direct. So we're gonna hit these things in order and give them the amount of time that we want to talk about them, I guess.
Pretty much, yes. Which, for the most part, will probably be short ones because there was a few, but honestly, I kind of got to the point at a certain part of the direct where I just had it on in the background and wasn't even caring anymore.
Fair.
I mean,
so
just saying.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I was talking to my mom about it. I'm just like, look, there's going to be stuff in this direct you don't care about because this direct's not aimed directly at you and everything you are interested in. No direct is ever like that, really.
I mean, there was enough scattered throughout it to where it kind of loosely kept my interest, but there was parts of it I'm like, no. Someone would like that.
Yeah. Speaking of the things you might like, specifically me, the first thing they talked about was the new Smash character. It's Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I am happy because I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, yay! I know some other people were disappointed by this, and I'm like, okay. I know this isn't Sephiroth, but this is still cool.
It's one of those that I'm like, I could completely see this and honestly wonder why it hadn't happened before now.
Well, they talked about why is because when Smash Ultimate was in production, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was still in development, so they couldn't finalize it.
Fair, but why didn't we see something in Fighter Pass 1?
True. Because I'm trying to think, wasn't the Rex costume no. The Rex costume wasn't the bonus for Fighter Pass 1, was it?
It might have been.
I was about to say, there was a Rex costume that was a bonus for something. And that's what people assume, like, we're not getting Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was the only thing we were going to get. I assume part of it was the logistics of trying to figure out how to do Ice Climbers, except both of them are really tall. And also, they share a weapon. Because that's design-wise how you'd have to do Rex and Pyra, is Ice Climbers, but they share a weapon, and also, they're both big. Not tiny, like the Ice Climbers are. But since they're doing Pyra and Mithra, and they're essentially doing them like Zelda and Sheik back in the day, that makes far more sense and works a lot better. And I actually really like it. Although I am surprised their third form / third personality, kind of, isn't in the game as their final Smash. Instead, it's just their regular, like, special attacks from the game. So, Also, I don't know what they'll do for spirits because, like, I think everyone... No, the spirits will be all the blades. Because all the drivers are spirits in Smash already. So then I think they'll have to do the blades. Give me one moment. I'll double check that. Yeah, it will be all the blades because all of the drivers, which are like the main playable characters, like Pyra and Mithra are blades, so it would be like Dromark and Poppy and all of them. They'll be the spirits on the spirit board. Which makes sense. I just wonder how many they'll put in since there's a shit ton of blades in the game. And technically, like, Cosmog from the original Xenosaga is technically a blade in the game. And actually, so are Shulk and Fiora. You actually get them from the free DLC for Chronicles 2. And so is the one chick from Xenoblade Chronicles X that is the main character. Anyway, I'm really happy for this, and we'll get this character in March, I think, is what they said.
I think that's what they said.
Yeah, so we'll probably get another, like, Smash showcase thing that Sakurai's been doing like sometime in March before release, so we can fully showcase the character. So cool. Next up, Famicom Detective Club Games is coming to the States for the first time. Little visual novel mystery games. I'm kind of on board with this because, you know, we don't have a new Phoenix Wright game at all, and I kind of would like a Phoenix Wright style game. And this seems to be in the ballpark. I assume no interest from you.
Not really, no.
Alright. Fall Guys is coming to Switch this summer. Yay! More people get to play Fall Guys. I forget quality-wise how it looked.
This was one of those that I was like, it's cool and all, but I don't know, especially with me upgrading my computer, if I would go with the Switch version as opposed to the PC.
I was about to say, I'm at 16 gigs, and my computer gets a little bit warm when it tries to run Fall Guys, so... Granted, I would assume the Switch would also, like, have the same issue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It would probably at least have the same issue with the storage.
Yeah.
But... yeah, it's one of those... I don't know. They might have it optimized better for the Switch. The big thing would be, does crossplay exist?
Yeah, that'd be an important thing for this.
Because if it doesn't, then...
Yeah. Alright, Outer Wilds is also coming to Switch. So if you've missed it out on PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One, here it is on the go on Switch. It looked kind of interesting. Another time loop game. a long stretch of time loop games for some reason. Samurai Warriors 5, a Muso style game, is coming to Switch. Yay. The Legend of Mana, which is a remaster of that game, is coming to Switch, PS4, and PC this year. It looked good. Actually, I saw John stream one of the games from this, the Capcom Arcade Stadium. He was streaming some beat 'em up from it, where one of the characters you can play as is a ostrich with a little girl on the back, and you kick people's ass as the ostrich. I was like, this looks cool. But big collection of Capcom arcade classics. Apparently you can buy 3 individual packs besides the main game to like get everything. So you've got Bionic Commando, Street Fighter 2, Captain Commando. I don't know many of these games. Oh, Strider. Ghost and Ghoul, or Ghouls and Ghosts. Street Fighter 2 Hyper, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And there's a lot of games here. Just a cool little collection. And it's all like $40. Or 15 for each bundle, which means you save $5 by just buying the bundle. Also, Ghosts and Goblins is like a $2 add-on. But it's apparently free till like the 25th. We're getting a new Mario Golf. Yay!
Yeah, that one kind of interested me a bit.
I assume this is from... I don't know who exactly is doing this. I assume it's the same team that did the tennis one. Because it kind of reminds me of the tennis one. or the new Mario Tennis, because you got the whole story mode thing. You've got, in this case, speed golf, where you are all golfing at the same time, which is kind of nutty, and I like it.
I like it because it feels like that is chaos waiting to happen.
Yes.
And I am all for that.
Mm-hmm. Also, everyone gets new golf costumes. Did you catch Wario's costume in the trailer?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's glorious. Hang on, let me see if I can find it in the trailer real quick. It's on like a character select screen. Oh, okay, it's at the end. 201.
Oh, you didn't post the link. Okay, I thought you had.
No. Oh no, it's in the.
Okay, got it.
It's in the list.
Yeah, I've not been opening the list. I just kind of have the list in the back, or the links from the list. Just kind of been leaving it up, because that's usually what I wind up doing with it anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
You said 201.
Yep.
And I did not mean to do that. That is funny.
Yeah. What the fuck is he wearing? His fucking flannel pants, his fucking cowboy hat with his big ass W on it. Oh, it's fucking glorious. Thank you, Wario.
It's weird because it fits.
Yes, it does. I'm now just thinking, okay, is Waluigi in this game? The fuck is he wearing?
Yes, and I'm curious. Because I know they did show Waluigi at some point in the trailer. I think it was one of the early ones where they kind of flipped through the different characters.
Probably. Yeah, it comes out June 25th, so this year. I'll see how it is at launch.
Yeah,
No
I
More
feel like same.
Yeah. No More Heroes 3 is dated for August 27th. Looks cool. It looks a little slow on the gameplay. A little bit. Maybe has a little bit of performance issues, but might not. It might just be a stylistic choice.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be fine. They've had to work on less hardware. You know that DC Superhero Girls show?
I saw this one come up, and all I can say is, glancing over at the chat, most people don't want this one.
It doesn't look too bad, to be honest, gameplay wise.
Fair.
Like, this looks like your very standard tie-in, like, action beat-em-up game. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this game. Outside of, you're probably not interested in this because you're probably not interested in the exact material this game is tied into.
And I feel like that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Mario stuff's coming to Animal Crossing. So costumes, props, and stuff. Honestly, weirdly enough, and Tom pointed it out on Twitter, the best thing to come out of this is actually the warp pipe that teleports you across your island.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, everyone is going to want that warp pipe because everything else is just cosmetic. It's like, wait, a warp pipe that lets me teletransport around the island?
Yep.
Fucking get in my inventory.
It's one of those, get here now.
Yeah. Miitopia, of all things, is coming to Switch in May with new stuff. Wasn't this the Spot Pass game on 3DS?
I don't remember, actually.
I think it is. Like, it was one of the really good Spot Pass games.
Realized I forgot to add the music player on this screen. Oops.
Oh no.
I heard it playing the remix water thing for SM64, and I'm like, oh. And I look over and I'm like, oh, whoops, crap.
But I assume Lukagen's happy because horse. You get to ride a horse and it gets to help you in combat by kicking people. I mean, it was one of the good Spot Pass games, so like it coming to Switch is fine. It just seems weird that this game I guess loses a bit of its functionality, since I assume it won't have the same Spot Pass functionality.
Unless they move that to like online functionality.
I would assume so.
The thing that still gets me is the fact of this is not the first time that we have had a me-focused game come to the Switch that kind of, doesn't focus on the me's.
True.
It's like,
Nintendo.
Okay.
And like the Mario Golf has me functionality too, because you need to have your me be one of the characters.
Yeah, that's what's. It's weird because it's like, okay, so we did still have some people like the me's, but we decided to step away from them for some reason.
Yeah, it's strange. It's like, I feel like Nintendo's trying to slowly phase out the Mii's and Amiibo in general. So okay, when they crop up,
I would agree with that, but then we get releases like Miitopia, and then it's like,
It might be the case because it was like last year's E3 with Link's Awakening. I forgot who on the dev team said it, but one of them talked about wanting Amiibo support, and Nintendo said sure. Like, the Amiibo support in Link's Awakening was the devs' call. It wasn't Nintendo's call. And it makes me think, oh, so if you want Amiibo, you can just have it? Because Nintendo's not pushing it? But they're not telling you to no?
I think what it is they wanted to do it with Smash because it had such a variety, and at that point they want their in-house studios and even third parties to come to them if they want them.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that was always the intention. Because think about the ones that they pushed hard. They pushed the Mario series stuff and the Smash.
And Animal Crossing.
Yes and no. It was a case of they had that one there, but they didn't hard push that.
True. Although, weirdly, Animal Crossing has the most amount of Amiibo.
So it kind of makes me wonder if maybe it's a case of Smash was their test ground. Now that they know it can sell, Smash is the only one that's going to have dedicated in the future, but everyone else can be like, hey, can we do the thing with the stuff?
And Nintendo's like, sure. Go ahead.
But I also feel like maybe Nintendo hasn't told their devs that either.
Maybe, I don't know. Oh, and I'll bring this up now. There's no mention of Pokemon Snap, even though it comes out in April. And I found out why that's the case.
I was gonna say that one doesn't completely surprise me.
Well, it's because Pokemon Day is next week.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Usually, when we don't get a Pokemon game announcement in a Nintendo Direct, it's because we've got something Pokemon coming.
Yeah, Pokemon Day is next week, and I think they have like their own dedicated like stream and stuff that they're doing announcements on. So I assume the reminder, hey, Pokemon Snap comes out in April, will be there, along with fucking who knows who else. What else? I can't wait for no remakes of any kind and for everyone to be mad about it.
I doubt that's gonna happen. I really do. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the remakes that everyone's expecting to happen. I'll just put that one out there.
What remakes do you expect to happen?
I think didn't they plan, like, wasn't everyone looking for Gen 2 to be the next one to get the Let's Go treatment?
Oh,
I'm thinking there was some kind of something about that. I don't know if it'll be that, but I feel like everyone probably have some kind of remake.
I was about to say, everyone's wanting the Gen 4 remakes, the Diamond and Pearl ones.
That might have been the one that I was
saying
there was rumors about. It's a case of, I feel like we'll see some remakes because it is an off year kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be the one that everyone's wanting. It's so
surprise,
not going to be.
It's Gen 5, you know, the one everyone loves, right? It'd be hilarious if they were Gen 5.
Come to think about it, which gens didn't get starters in Sword and Shield by the time the dust settled?
I honestly don't know. 1 second.
Because I know not all of them did. And I'm thinking there was 2 of them that didn't.
Gen 2, that's that's in Gen 2. Yeah, Gen 2, which is Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. Gen 4. This isn't helping.
Nope.
Because that's Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. And Gen 5. God damn it. Because that's Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott. And Gen 6. Froakie, Chespin, and Fennekin. So, wow. 4 different gens. Yeah.
I thought they got it numbered down to 2 of them left, but maybe I was wrong on that then.
So, even joke-wise, that doesn't help. Great.
Nope.
Surprise! It's Gen 6. It's Gen 6 remakes.
Because I'm having a funny feeling that if they're going to do a remake, it's probably going to be one of those 4. So they've at least got the models made for the next gen. And then they can just, eventually work in the whole, hey, you can literally take any Pokemon into this game.
Yay.
And get us right back to where we were.
Yep.
Because let's be completely fair, that is exactly what the 2 DLCs did for Sword and Shield. Was build up that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had added content. I'm not going to say they didn't. I'm not going to say that content was bad. But in reality, that was the fan appeasal of, we're going to put as many as we can in there. We're not getting them all. We know we're not.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Pokemon Day next week. I don't know where the live stream and stuff are. I'll wait until I see a tweet about it. I almost did reactions to the Direct, but I was tired that day, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel like setting up and doing this. Not today. I kind of want to just sit back and watch this.
Fair.
Anyway, back to the Direct itself. Neon White was announced. It's a momentum platformer / shooter with like a card game mechanic for weapons and stuff. I'm honestly really curious about this.
This might have been around the point where I started just having it in the background.
I like this. It looks cool. It looks like a fun speed game.
Well, that's the reason why I'm like, this must have been around the point where I just wasn't caring, because that almost sounds like something I would have been interested in.
Yeah, I know you would have been interested in this because this is actually where I stepped away to get food, because my dinner was done right at this point, and I skipped out on most of this.
Okay. I don't know, because this next one actually did kind of get me with the trailer, but then also looking at it being an EA title, I'm like,
Yeah, this is the one, which was Knockout City. I did not get to see any of it, and I didn't really go back to look at any of it, because I think it was just, here's a bunch of not the old school characters, but stand-ins for them playing dodgeball in a city.
I'm gonna put it this way: if they put as much effort into that trailer, or into the game as they did to that trailer, that'll probably be a fun game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's EA. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, did Neo White have a date? No, just winter. Okay. This had nothing to it. Star Wars Hunters. Like, literally nothing.
Yeah.
Don't even know what the fuck this is. It's free. It's apparently a free-to-play third-person shooter. Okay. Alright. This I was really happy to see. Project Triangle Strategy is coming out next year, but this is the Octopath devs. Because it's their art, it's their engine and stuff, and it's just like, oh, you're making a Final Fantasy Tactics game after you figured out how to do a Final Fantasy game? Okay. Are you just gonna keep showing up Square? Your own company?
I mean, maybe if they can keep doing this, then this will turn into, you know, us getting decent remakes.
Oh.
Just
an old school
saying,
fight.
Because, you know,
Oh god.
7R, while people like it, there are people out there that are like, God, this is too long.
I'm just imagining, okay, take an old school Final Fantasy and apply it to this engine and this art style. That would be really cool, because you could have like kind of updated but still like faithful to the original sprites, because that's like what all the character models are, is their sprites. But then you could update all of the backgrounds and stuff to be all of these like really good like 3D models and stuff.
And on top of that, you could kind of update the dialogue and stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good idea. Shit.
I'm wondering if this is the idea, because, like you said, they've already showed that they can do a good Final Fantasy style game.
Yeah.
With this, they're going to show that they can do a good tactics game.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much covers all your 2D Final Fantasy titles.
Yeah. Also, I still need to play through all of Octopath. I haven't touched that in a while.
I still have to actually get it, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. Anyway, they're also putting out a demo and doing survey stuff with the demo, which is exactly what they did for Octopath. Like, they put out that demo, like 6 months before the game came out?
I think so.
And they were taking feedback on it to do, like, tweaking and stuff for the game. So, yeah, even though it's coming out next year, like, fuck yes. Gimme. From the folks who did Danganronpa, World's End Club. I guess it's because I don't have any interest in Danganronpa. I'm just like, okay, this looks neat, but it's probably not for me. It's for everyone who keeps playing all the Danganronpa games.
Just saying.
Yeah. I know John was excited about this until he realized that one of them might have been the Vita version. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget which one it is, but he noticed that one of them was a weird port of it, and he's just like, that might be a problem. But essentially, it's the Sigma versions of 1 and 2 and Razor's Edge of 3. So essentially, it's the director's, like the... How do I put this? The special editions of the 3 of them with all their extra content and stuff. So, yay! Now, they did... No, it wasn't for this, so we'll get there. I want to go in order. Pyro Warriors Age of Calamity got DLC, or is getting DLC. Yay! And I will pull up this image to make sure I get the list right. So, if you purchase this now, on May 28th, you're going to get a new weapon and a new costume for Link. Now, I know in the trailer it looked like what is it? It looked like one of the ancient swords, like a fancy version of it was in the background. So I'm assuming the costume, since I think they've done a lot of different costumes in the game, is the ancient armor, because I don't think that's in the game. I don't think. I will double check and make sure, but I'm assuming it's that costume. Because I have like almost every other costume that appeared in Breath of the Wild. Thank God this person has it sorted by set.
Nice.
So far, the answer is no.
Well then.
No. So that's the costume, I'm willing to bet. Because every other costume, including all of the little enemy heads,
yeah,
those are in there.
Yeah, I've got 2 of the 4, isn't it?
I think there's like 5.
5? Okay.
No, there's 4. No, there's 4, because there's a Bobakin, the Liz Zalfos, Moblin, and a Lionel one.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, it was just 4, so yeah. I've got 2 of the 4 already, so... But yeah.
So, that's the costume. I figured. In June, the first wave of the DLC will be expanded roster, which is probably some, if not some of the characters we already know have like a transition dialogue to. Because 2 of them are in the poster for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to bet they're probably at least the first 2.
Probably. Because it would kind of suck if they were the last 2.
Yeah. New weapon types. So that's definitively new weapons. Because a new weapon could just be a new skin for a weapon like the ladle is. And that might be what Link's getting is just a new skin for a weapon.
Probably like a new skin for like a regular sword to kind of be like a master sword equivalent.
Right. Yeah, new weapon types is definitively new weapons. New challenges in the Royal Ancient Lab, so boss rush maybe? Or something else
Probably.
along those lines? Something they haven't done in the game as of yet, or as I have yet to experience. And then new added challenging enemies. Game Explain references as like maybe doing hard mode style enemies, which would kind of make sense because like everything else about Breath of the Wild mechanically is referenced in this game.
Yeah.
And then in November, you get Wave 2 with new character vignettes. The fuck is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. New added stages. So new maps. Okay. More characters. Maybe the other characters that have been referenced in dialogue. Or in, like, cut dialogue. And then new battle skills? The fuck does that mean? Like, legitimately, what the fuck does that mean? Does that mean, like, new, like, mods for the weapons? Or is it, like, shit. What am I thinking of? Zelda and her bow and her, like, super mode thing. Stuff like that.
It might be something like that, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, that's very, like, interesting and also non-specific.
Yeah, they've got this a little too vague.
Yeah, I'm interested nonetheless. Like, I'll probably buy this and, like, wait for, you know, the new content.
I feel like I probably will too.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yay, more Age of Calamity. Hades is getting a physical release on Switch with a little character art book and, you know, the game and a code to download the soundtrack, which, like, fucking hell, can I get the soundtrack on its own? Because Hades, from what I've heard of it, has, like, some really good music to it. But it's cool. Hades is a good game. And that's all on March 19th. Now we can talk about the whole 3D Zelda situation, because Skyward Sword is coming out this year, July 16th. And it'll have a special Joy-Con, like 2 Joy-Cons, like the Master Sword and the Master Shield. Or the Hylian Shield. Why'd I call it the Master Shield? It's not the Master Shield. That's not a thing.
Also, yes, this will be Skyward Sword Definitive Edition because, you know, at this point, it'll be screw the Wii version.
Right. Because they have almost made normal controls for Skyward Sword.
I feel like that's the best that you could expect.
Yeah, because they have to completely redesign the game otherwise if they wanted normal controls for this game.
Well, yes and no. I feel like it would more limit you if they didn't do it the way they did it, kind of deal. It'd be kind of similar to the speed tech for Odyssey.
Yeah.
You can play the game without ever shaking the controller. You're just not going to go fast.
Right.
So I think it would be something similar to that, but at a point where you couldn't actually do certain things in the game without the motion controls.
Right.
So I feel like this is the best compromise.
But along with this announcement of Skyward Sword HD, they said Breath of the Wild 2 info is coming this year. And I'm almost willing to put money that it will be around E3 this year. Because we are getting E3 this year. It's a digital-only event.
I feel like we're going to see that. And I'm wondering if maybe they missed the mark to be able to do the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD ones with it, like they were wanting to.
Right. Because I had this conversation in Long Toys chat with him and some other people about like a Zelda collection. You can't really do a 2D Zelda collection.
No.
Because 1, 2, and Link to the Past are on the Switch Online emulators. So you can't do those, which leaves you like the GBA ones in Four Swords. Like the kind of spin-off-y ones.
So your next best options would either be a like Ocarina Majora's Mask, but then I guess you wouldn't technically have to do a third.
Right. But here's the tricky part with the two of those. Both of those received, I don't know if you would call them remakes, but updated versions of them for 3DS.
Yeah. They actually would be considered remakes.
Okay.
Because the engine was completely redone to accommodate for it.
Yeah. So both of those have remakes. So now you have the question of, do we give you the original versions, just updated? Or do we try to port the remasters? Or these remakes? Which requires them to redesign the games again to go back to one screen.
Yeah. But see, and that's also why I'm wondering if maybe the idea might have been Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword being the thing.
Right.
But also, at that point, 2 of the 3 still would have to be modified because both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess had the option of using the gamepad.
Yep.
So there's no way that they can make a compilation without having to do some work.
Right. Whereas Skyward Sword is all right, we map motion controls to the analog stick and shove it out the door with a new coat of paint.
So I'm wondering if maybe Skyward Sword was the easiest to get pushed out in light of last year.
Right.
Whereas the other 2 were probably gonna, if they come to the Switch, we're probably gonna see them winter with, if Breath of the Wild 2 gets a definitive release, with it probably being around this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I would think.
Mm-hmm.
That way they could kind of tie it all in like they did the Mario anniversary, but do it for Zelda.
Yeah.
The other thing that they technically could do, and I mean they did do it for Super Mario 64, they could package original Ocarina and Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
They actually could do that. And truthfully, it's clear they've got a working GameCube emulator, or Sunshine wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
They technically could do the originals and go with the first 3 3Ds. But at that point, why would you put Wind Waker in its base form?
Yeah.
It's one of those, why would you go through the hassle of putting an emulated version when you've got a HD remake?
Yeah, Zelda is unfortunately in the weird position of, it's received a lot of updates to a lot of its like modern tiles within the last like 5 years, which makes it complicated on what the fuck you do with them.
You know what? 3D All Stars actually answered something. Because you know what we weren't even thinking about?
What?
SM64 does have a re-release. DS.
Yeah, it does. I forgot about that.
And they still chose to go with the base.
So they could just go with the base Ocarina and Majora's Masks and just be done. And not bother with the 3DS versions of them.
They sure
That
could.
is a fair point. Yeah.
But like I said, that still poses the question, if they went with a third game to go with it, why would they go with really Wind Waker or Twilight Princess? Because they both have HD remakes. And now at this point, Skyward Sword does too. Which means that the next one, as they pointed out in the Direct, is Breath of the Wild. Guess what? It's not getting a remake.
No, it's already been ported. We're not porting it again.
It's one of those, yeah, so that means we either have a 2 or a case of they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot kind of deal.
I don't know. Well, I mean, Breath of the Wild 2 information. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, in theory, I guess they could package like them two with maybe one of the GBA titles.
Maybe, but like, which one would people care about?
I mean, you might could do like Minish Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, if you've got Ocarina and Majora's Mask, that's going to sell the bundle regardless of what the third game is.
Yeah.
So, truthfully, at that point, I would almost more be willing to say, with the third game, maybe pick the more obscure title that hasn't been re-released in a while.
Oh.
Then the bundle's going to sell itself regardless and get that game out there in everyone's eyes.
Rai in Longstoy streams, which is Collector Shuki, she brought up a really good point of the Oracle's games. What if you could remake those using Link's Awakening as a basis? Because don't they share assets? I wasn't sure. I was just like, that?
Yeah, don't know so much on that one.
Yeah.
Because the Oracle games were GB.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Link's Awakening actually originally came out on.
I think Link's Awakening was Game Boy, and then the DX version was Game Boy Advance.
Right, because everyone's looks at the GBA version.
Right.
Or as far as before the remake, the definitive version.
Oh no, it's just straight Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Oh, color. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was, at least the one that I've always seen wasn't the same style. So yeah, maybe then.
Because I was thinking they shared assets between the two.
They probably did.
A lot. Yeah, so a lot of stuff there is already made for Oracles. You just need to make new stuff. So I was just like, that makes a lot of sense. And like a definitive, this is the Oracles, like, certain version. So like just combine the two games into one, or do something that allows you to flip between the two versions of them on the fly.
So do like a CE and 2 anniversary concept with it?
More like, I guess, Light World, Dark World from Prime 2. Because they're supposed to be two different games, more or less.
Oh,
and they
you
have
mean
things that
flipping
affect
between the games. Gotcha.
Right. Like you're playing Oracles of Ages, and then like when you need to flip to seasons, you just flip automatically. You just hit a button, you're already over there. Something like that.
If the engine could handle that, maybe.
Yeah, because that's a lot to ask about it.
Yeah. But I could see them doing a, for lack of a better way of putting it, a stop and swap mentality with them.
Yeah, because it had I think like a password system that's the change between them originally.
But take something similar to like what Banjo-Kazooie was supposed to do.
Right.
And kind of have it all just dump in like a save file.
Right. But yeah, that was a thought that got brought up, and I was like, that makes sense, because yeah. But Breath of the Wild 2.
It does make sense. The only reason I was leaning toward in on the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess stuff is because of the renewals kind of deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, it honestly could be anything.
Yeah. But I realized something about Breath of the Wild 2 because of what we're talking about later at the end of this direct. That is definitively dated for next year.
Yeah.
When did Breath of the Wild 1 come out?
At launch.
When did Splatoon 2 come out?
Yeah.
For clarification, Breath of the Wild came out in March of 2017. Splatoon 2 came out in June of 2017. So,
yeah.
Since it's already name dropped it, Splatoon 3, which looks like it's working and running, what if they inverse them this time? Like Splatoon 3 comes out early next year, and Breath of the Wild comes out in the summer. Or Breath of the Wild 2 comes out in the summer.
The only way that I can really see that being what'll happen is if they're farther behind on Breath of the Wild 2 than they actually should be.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, though, didn't Splatoon 1 come out in like June or July? Because I'm feeling like Splatoon's always been the summer release.
May.
So yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. Pretty much.
Splatoon 3 will probably be like summer next year.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
May, June, maybe July at the latest next year.
Mm-hmm.
Granted,
but
the thing that you just mentioned could still hold true, for the simple fact of it might not be so much that it'll be reverse order as much as we might actually see Breath of the Wild 2 being winter of next year.
Right.
Because they just said they'd have more later this year on it.
Right. Which I assume would be E3 season, but it could just be like late this year.
If you recall too, Breath of the Wild, we went a long time before having an actual release date.
Yeah.
Granted, that was console swap too.
And I think it had like 6 years in development or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was long, and it was ahead of the long development cycle.
But I mean, like I said, granted, that was console swap too. It was part of the reason why we couldn't nail a date down.
Right.
But we went a long way and through a couple of different iterations of demos before we got the final version.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe E3 we're probably going to see like an early demo. If it is late next year, maybe throughout the next year from then, with next E3 being the final demo concept.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I just wonder how long it's been in development, because like I know they said like to 2019 it's now in development, but I'm like, what do you mean now? What do you mean like it's been in development for 6 months and we're now announcing that it's in development, or we're now starting development not long after we're announcing, like before we announced it? Like,
yes.
How long was Breath of the Wild 2 in development? Because like from what we've seen, it seems to be running on all of the Breath of the Wild stuff, so that fast tracks the development to a certain extent.
Right. Because for the most part, they should only be dealing with some minor updates, especially now with Age of Calamity.
Yeah,
being in there.
I feel like Age of Calamity is using Breath of the Wild assets left, right, and center.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it also feels like it might be using some slightly updated Breath of the Wild assets. Like, it's not enough to notice a lot, but it does seem like it's a little more cleaner than what we got with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if we might have got, like, early Breath of the Wild 2 development stuff, where they modified it a little bit, and then was like, here, use this.
Yeah, because
nothing's enough to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely not Breath of the Wild content. It all feels like it. But at the same time, I'm like, this feels like it looks cleaner? Are we actually still dealing with the same? Or did someone maybe fix stuff?
Yeah, because I also feel like this release of Age of Calamity just is like, just releasing it out of the blue, like announcing it, and it comes out in like, what, 3 months later?
Yeah.
And it's all like, here's the prequel to Breath of the Wild. We all assumed it was going to tell like the total prequel story to Breath of the Wild. As it turns out, no, it's kind of telling its own thing after a certain point. But I'm also like, I heard that tune. Don't think I didn't hear it. I heard you play the Song of Time, you little shit. I may not be the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild, but I know my Ocarina songs.
It's one of those that the first time that it was played, I was like, oh, okay.
Also, it means technically Zelda invented time travel because she invented Terrico.
Yeah.
Which is which I have to think it's not like she literally invented time travel. It's just she has the powers of the goddess
and time magic shenanigan.
Yeah, time magic is somewhere in there, I assume, considering, you know, her ocarina is the one that lets you travel through time in Ocarina of Time. So, I have to think there's a reason we've gotten an Age of Calamity between now and then. Granted, I don't know how much of Age of Calamity would even be referenced in the Breath of the Wild 2. Considering it won't be that Link and Zelda we're following. It's Breath of the Wild 1 Link and Zelda.
True, but everything I feel like leading up to the start of the true timeline shenanigans that go on in Age of Calamity, I feel like you can probably take that as it happened spot for spot kind of deal.
Yeah, because doesn't it line up with like the pseudo memory fights you do in the DLC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's one of those really until that point, yeah. you could probably say spot for spot that is the retelling.
Right.
That's the point where it deviates big time, but I feel like it works because where it splits, we know what happened from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it works a lot better.
Right. And there's also still parallels later on that's like, okay, so we're still getting to hear just differently, which still makes sense.
Yeah. And we still end with the same end results.
Right.
So
it's just less people are dead.
Yeah.
Far less people are now dead.
So I feel like we're going to have some references to it, just not as many.
Like, I assume our current champions will reference it, since they're the only ones who can at the moment.
Maybe as a one-off line kind of deal.
Yeah.
That they then kind of backpedal to play off kind of deal, I could see.
Mm-hmm.
That's even saying that they are going to play a part in Breath of the Wild 2.
Right.
I would think they would, but at the same time,
we don't know what the fuck's happening in Breath of the Wild 2 outside of, oh no, we woke up the real Ganon this time.
Yeah.
And also, Link loses his arm and gains a magic one, and Hyrule Castle may or may not be flying at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we still have a lot of questions about Breath of the Wild too. So I would just like more, because still to this day that first reveal trailer is so fucking good. Like, it tells us almost nothing about Breath of the Wild 2 realistically, but it's such a damn good sell on the concept that I'm like, yeah, no, I want to buy this.
And it's weird because Age of Calamity, because like I said, up to that point, you could probably say it all happened spot for spot and be fine.
Uh-huh.
In light of that, I'm now a little more curious on the true origin for Calamity Ganon. Because this feels like it's got some kind of outside hand in it that hasn't been exposed within Breath of the Wild proper.
Right. Because we had this whole, like, I think people are assuming he's the fortune teller from all of the background or the backstory stuff for Breath of the Wild.
I could see that.
Because I think that's based off, like, how he operates all his stuff, and, like, the backstory itself is just like, oh, you're the fortune teller person. But, like, it also brings up the question of, where the fuck are you in Breath of the Wild 1?
Mm-hmm.
If you exist before this, because the only new person introduced into the timeline is Terrico, because he was boxed up and, like, shoved to the side for, like, all of the proper Breath of the Wild 1 backstory, and he's gone in improper Breath of the Wild 1. He doesn't exist, presumably.
That's what I was fixing to say. Presumably.
Yeah, right. Because I assume the other Terrico we run into, that's Age of Calamity's timeline Terrico, right?
Maybe?
Because Breath of the Wild 1's Terrico goes back in time and causes a timeline split to create the Age of Calamity timeline. But because he goes back, he is still, like, his original, or his version that's originally present in that timeline is still in the box. So he still exists somewhere. Presumably. Unless, like, timeline shenanigans means he doesn't technically exist because it eliminates him, so there's not 2 Terracos, but there are 2 Terracos, so I assume it's the original one for that timeline. I don't know.
Yeah.
That gets into way more complicated shit than this game requires.
And it doesn't help none that, evil Terraco kind of doesn't exist after a certain point anymore.
Right, because we blow
goes poof, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, we just blow him up and be done. So yeah, I'm as obvious by this long conversation, I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2. It probably helps that it's my Zelda, I guess. My first real proper Zelda.
Yeah, that probably helps.
And probably my favorite one, to be honest, out of all of the ones we've played. It also doesn't help that all the other ones I played are very old and definitely show their age in places.
Fair. So,
I guess the other two.
I would say, so that would tell me that we need to try Skyward Sword, but then no, motion controls. HD, sure, but no.
Yeah, we're not figuring out the complicated process of mapping motion controls to a controller.
Oh, I know that's not possible.
Yeah.
At that point, we've got to use a keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you figure out a way to actually hook a Wii remote to a computer, because that can happen.
I was about to say, you could try to replicate what they're doing for the HD version.
That would take knowledge of the game.
Correct.
Which we don't have.
Very true. But two of the other things before we talk about Splatoon 3. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville is coming to Switch. $40 complete edition in March. And fucking curveball and a half. Stumps the Zombie. I think an old Xbox title is coming to Switch as a remaster? What? I was very confused by this, because I'm like, okay, I know what this is, but that's because I'm a G4 TV kid, and I probably saw a review of this on XPlay. But who the fuck wants this? Better yet, who the fuck even knows what this is?
Not it.
I barely know what this is. So yeah, those exist. So Splatoon 3. Okay. I saw someone point out that a tweet of, I forget what it was. I think it's Callie and Marie go to Paris because the Eiffel Tower is in the background of this demo, and Paris looks fine. And then someone just goes, "What the fuck did you two do in Paris?"
Everything.
Apparently, because I initially thought that the apocalypse hadn't been between the two games, between this and 2.
I thought that was what they were going for. I so thought that was what they were going for. And then as the trailer kept going, I'm like, oh, this isn't what you were going for.
Yeah, no, there's just a regular town and stuff, normal, and then you have the normal multiplayer, except now you're all in balloon stuff. You're floating instead of shooting out of off a launch pad, so you can't be spawn camped.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then you have a new bow and arrow weapon, which, okay, that looks cool. And you've got new supers and stuff. Also, I didn't realize until someone pointed out, there's no gender selection. like the gender of your inkling is whatever you want it to be, because there's no specified gender for it. You just choose like hairstyle, skin tone, whatever your bottoms are.
That.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And you also choose stuff about your little like salmon buddy.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed. You can't choose to be an octoling.
Assumingly. But I believe information on Twitter specified that inklings and octolings are in the city. So what if that's a choice before this?
Maybe?
Or maybe you get a second, or maybe you unlock, or you get a second choice later and you unlock an octoling? And maybe you play as both of them? Question
that might
mark?
be stretching it.
Probably. Probably incredibly hard. Like, no, they specified octolings and inklings in the same city. What?
I might have seen what they did.
What?
I think we saw the story mode character creator.
Oh, that was my assumption. That's what I was assuming to start with. Was this is the story mode? This is the intro of the story mode.
Not the actual multiplayer character creation.
Right, because this is just like the Octo expansion. How it intros.
Yeah. Meaning we've probably got a inkling and an octoling story mode.
Right, because you'll play as the inkling and then you'll probably unlock the octoling, and then you get to play as both in the story.
And when it clicked right there was when it also makes sense that you could customize your salmon buddy, because he wasn't visible in the multiplayer.
Yeah, because he's not in the multiplayer, I assume.
It's like, yep, I see what they did there. That was a clever little switch right there.
Yeah, I assumed it was the intro of the story mode because it didn't feel like it was going to be the intro to multiplayer. It felt like the intro of the story mode into the single player part.
It almost felt like it could have been the intro to just the game in general.
True.
Because of the train ride.
Right.
And usually, from the past two, it's been a case of your multiplayer character is actually your character in the story mode.
Mm-hmm.
Octo expansion kind of goofed that up a little bit there, but normally, anyhow. So I wasn't putting two and two together until right then, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh, I see what you did. Clever.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, they've mentioned Inklings, Octolings, so you're getting an Octoling in this to play as. I don't doubt that for a second. After everyone demanded it, they did an entire expansion around it. And also, Who Wants to Bet Agent 8 shows up.
Probably, yeah.
Who Wants to Bet Agent 8 shows up, and she's canonically female. Because I can almost guarantee it will canonically be female.
I could say it.
Because Agent, 3 is canonically female? Unless considering, they can do a save data transfer for Splatoon 1 to 2. Agent 8 is canonically whatever you had it as in Splatoon 2.
You mean 2 to 3? You said 1 to 2.
Well, yeah. Yeah, 1 to 2. There's no way they could do a save data transfer from 1 to 2, so they didn't know what your Agent 3 looked like, so they just went canonical female. But I guess, Agent 4 is who you are for the main story mode? I want to say you're Agent 4, like the Inkling is Agent 4 in the story mode.
I think you're right.
So, like, canonically, your Agent 4 is whatever your Agent 4 looks like in Splatoon 2, and then Agent 8 is canonically whatever your Agent 8 looks like in Octo Expansion.
That might be asking too much.
I know. I'm aware.
I think we're going to have canonical genders for both of them, if they even show up.
Right. Well, like, Agent 3 showed up for the main game, didn't she? No, she only showed up in Octo Expansion, didn't she?
Yeah.
Because she only showed up for the fight. Well, for both fights.
Yeah, because...
Which the second one is bullshit.
Because main story's only ever been named characters.
Right. So, what about our off-the-hook crew?
That's going to be the question.
Yeah, where are they in this? Because, like, they're fine. Like, they aren't even feuding.
We're clearly in a different city.
Right.
So it's not a case of they're just here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's gonna be a good question. Doing from the last two games, that was a case of they utilize them for the main story concept.
Right.
But I don't know if they do that this time.
Well, Marina and Pearl showed up in Octo Expansion and actually helped you out in the final fight.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know if they would do it this time. Because they've technically already done that now.
Yeah. Granted, if they show up, I'm like, where's Agent 8? Because you went and pulled her out of the subway. Where's your buddy Agent 8? Look, if you haven't noticed, I really liked Octo Expansion, and I want Agent 8 to show up. Because Octo Expansion was really good, and I really enjoyed it.
And you know, that's the other thing. Are they going to take the normal, what we're used to for story mode? Or are they going to actually look at Octo Expansion and be like, that design looks better?
I'm in favor of Octo Expansion, just not as difficult. Because Octo Expansion is fine as a like hard story mode, like next to the normal story mode, but if you tone the difficulty down but still give me everything else about Octo Expansion, I'm okay with it.
I feel like I would kind of like a weird mix between the two.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you would pull that off. Because I kind of do like the overworld movement.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I like the streamline. Because then you can pick and choose what you want to do, as opposed to having to do everything.
What if...
The only way I could see anything like that working is if they litter each area with a bunch of smaller challenges and say you have to meet a certain threshold to face the boss, kind of deal.
That's what I was thinking. It was kind of like a more or less a Mario style of you do as many as you need to move on. You don't have to do everything.
Because that would about be the only thing I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, you have to also decide, do you do one enormous area littered with all of these, or do you do the normal multiple areas, each with a set amount?
What if you, like, to use an Oxo expansion comparison, what if you took a train to a station, and that station, to get to the next, to unlock the ability to go to the next station, you had to do like a set number of challenges within that station, and then you move on to the next station, and then that station has a set number of challenges you have to do, and so on and so forth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, would you do it that way, or would you have one massive area with just basically challenge roadblocks kind of concept? Like have it set up to where like it might have 10 challenges, you have to beat 5 and then the boss to open more, for instance.
Is it weird that you just described Bowser's Fury? Because that's exactly how Bowser's Fury operates, actually. And I'm like, well, they actually already did that.
So then what I'm hearing is there's a strong possibility that that might be the thing.
True. Because for those that don't know how Bowser's Fury works, because I've heard about this, I haven't seen it myself, but you essentially have a series of islands that are essentially part of this big overworld, and on that island are a certain amount of cat shines. Once you get a certain number of cat shines, you can go essentially Super Saiyan Cat and battle like Black Ink Bowser. But while you're doing the challenges, Bowser, like Black Ink Bowser, is on a timer, and he shows up on like a set interval that gets faster over like the more islands you unlock. And every time you fight him, you actually damage him permanently until you finally do the final boss, which is to like fully damage him and return him to normal, so he can go beat Bowser again in another game.
So I'm gonna put this out there. I've not seen anything about Bowser's Fury yet.
Yeah, you literally nailed Bowser Fury's gameplay in a nutshell. It's like, what the fuck?
Well.
So yeah, I'm excited for Splatoon 3. I can't wait for it to come out next year. I've been itching for Splatoon. I might play Splatoon 2 tomorrow or Monday.
I would love to be like, yeah, I want to see more out of it, but at the same time, no, I just want it.
Yeah. Look, it's Splatoon. We all know how Splatoon operates. I just need you to give me the gist of what the new stuff is and just give me the game. I don't need like an in-depth explanation of what the fuck's going on.
And please give us a way to skip the tutorial.
Yes.
We do not need to learn how to move every game.
Like, is DJ Octavia bust out of the bottle again? Yes. Okay, so we have to go deal with him again. No, it's a new villain? Okay, cool. We'll go deal with him. Did he kidnap kidnap Marina or Pearl? No. Okay, cool. We don't have to rescue them. Yes. One or both of them. Okay, so we got to go rescue them. Cool. Good to know.
I'm just being the normal. You make your character and this is how you move. This is how you shoot. We don't need that. Let us skip that. Yeah.
I just mean, give me the basics on the story. I don't need an in-depth explanation of what the fuck's going on. just give me the basics. So, good direct overall?
Yeah.
Alright then. Other news. Mortal Kombat, the movie. We got a trailer for it. Have you seen this?
No.
I've seen it. It looks like a Mortal Kombat. Scorpion says his get over here, but it does not have enough anger and like it's not loud enough. It's a little too soft. But otherwise, it looks like a Mortal Kombat movie. Blood, guts, everything else. Everything kind of looks like on point. So we'll see. It comes out. Fuck, when does this come out? April 18th in theaters and on HBO Max, so you'll probably see it on HBO Max. The entirety of Kingdom Hearts is on Epic Game Store soon. So 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, 3, and Melody of Memories are all coming to the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
Yeah. Basically, 1.5 and 2.5 is 50, everything else is 60.
Yeah. I, much like Bloody, am only going to give a shit if they actually do some mod stuff with this. Since, you know, this will be the first time any of these games are on a PC platform. I wonder how easy it is to mod it.
I wonder how easy it'll be to do some kind of like randomizer for it.
Fair.
Because, I mean, the groundwork technically exists. It can be done with 2.
Mm-hmm.
The case is, how easy will it be for someone to write the right scripts to be able to do it?
Right.
That's leaning me to want to get the 1.5, 2.5.
Then you get to play, like, a couple of the good ones.
It's one of those, it's leaning me towards it for the mod potential.
Yeah. But don't you want to play Chain of Memories? Or Birth by Sleep? or watch the movies for 358 by 2 days and Coded.
Like I said, the mods are the reason why I'm kind of leaning towards it.
Yeah, I don't envy anyone who's just like, I want to buy all these and go on the journey. And I'm just like, oh, you in for a ride, son. Because Bloody did one of his like KH talks, so it's just him to sitting down talking about Kingdom Hearts stuff. Recently on the story, and he did like a little commentary and stuff about this guy's video that talked about the story and how it is a very non-traditional, aka probably not good by most people's standards story. You have to come in with the expectations that is the case in order to really enjoy this, to be honest. Which is a very fair statement.
Fair.
I'm like, yeah, this guy says a lot of things that I'm like, yeah. This is why I'm off this train. All of this is why I'm out. This is why I don't care about Versus 13 being put into Kingdom Hearts, because I'm like, no, I don't care, because it probably won't be that good. So you know how everyone's doing their reboots and the remakes and the remasters? So what do you think is better than rebooting one game?
Rebooting all the games?
No, rebooting the one game multiple times at the same time.
Oh.
So apparently Konami has outsourced a reboot of Silent Hill.
A reboot?
Yes, we'll get there.
Okay.
It's apparently going to be a plan to be a departure, and they don't know. Trying to skim through this article real quick to see where this like multiple reboots is going. All right, so back in March of last year, SIC Japan Studio was also working on a Silent Hill reboot, but they are apparently developing their own survival horror game that is for their own independent studio. Apparently also Supermassive Games that did Until Dawn and all of the Dark Pictures anthology stuff are also working on a reboot of Silent Hill. So that is at least 3 developers within the last year that are working on a reboot of Silent Hill. A potential one. The second one is apparently untrue and may not be the case. And now, team CEO Pietro Barbino said that his studio is working on developing a new horror IP with a very famous game publisher. And they did Layers of Fear, Blair Witch, and most recently, The Medium.
So a Silent Hill reboot.
So that is currently at least, presumably, 3 Silent Hill reboots working in work at the same time by Konami. That they have outsourced to other people at the same time.
Sounds about right.
This is not going to work. Like, there's no way.
I'll see what they can do is they can get 3 different people to do reboots of the same game and package it all together as one game.
What? So they're secretly rebooting the entire trilogy, and they're each working on a different game in the trilogy?
No, they're all working on the same one.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna package 3 different versions of the same game rebooted.
Yeah. So here is your regular version. Here is your Telltale style version, and here is your shooter version.
Right. Because that'll work.
Oh God.
I don't even.
It's Konami. They have not made the best decisions with video games in the last, 5 years, to be honest.
Fair. I still don't even, though.
Yeah. So, BlizzCon. So, BlizzCon happened this weekend, or is happening this weekend, and they had their, keynote opening ceremony things to talk about stuff. So, first and foremost, the Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn are going to be on PC as of Friday. Last Friday.
Yes. Oh. Last Friday?
The 19th.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, Friday.
Well, now 2 days ago Friday, but okay.
That's why I said last Friday. So as of the 19th, those 3 are going to be available on PC. Cool. You know how everyone clamored for World of Warcraft Classic?
Mm-hmm.
So here is... What the fuck is the name of the expansion? Oh no! Okay, this is about the raid. Upcoming raid lets you fight Sylvanas, whoever this guy is, in the upcoming raid. I guess Chains of Domination is what the raid is called, so... Cool. This is what I was thinking of. Everyone wanted Classic so much, they're doing an expansion to Classic, which is they're doing World of Warcraft Classic Burning Crusade.
Which I do have to agree with the title that they give that on the page there. If I'm not mistaken, Burning Crusade actually is one of the better early expansions that everyone talks good about. So
I believe so too, yeah.
That's probably not a bad call.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be everything that would be attached to Classic, but it's Burning Crusade, so yay. Hearthstone is getting a Classic mode.
Everything goes Classic.
Yep. So you get to play like Hearthstone Original, sends all of its expansions. But they also are bringing in Hearthstone Mercenaries, which is like a strategic RPG thing for Hearthstone. Cool. Diablo 4? 4 is getting the Rogue class and got a trailer for it. So Diablo 4 is still in production. And Diablo 2 Resurrected is a remaster of Diablo 2, and it's coming out for everyone who likes Diablo 2. Where's all the Overwatch 2 stuff? Was that not in the keynote? There was Overwatch 2 stuff yesterday.
Huh.
I thought that was in here.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Well, that's okay. You'll get to have that in there next show.
Well, I found it.
Oh, you did find it?
Yeah, I just clicked the Blizzard tag at the bottom of the article and just saw it as the next article in line.
Ah. Then I can
So
pull that
Blizzard
one up.
2, so like Overwatch 2 wasn't at the opening ceremony, but they still had their own like 38-minute like behind the scenes. So characters are getting updated looks, getting skill trees from the looks of it, new maps, mini bosses and like null sectors. And they also are doing like hero mission stuff, and they said they're going to do like hundreds and hundreds of hero missions and like keep developing those, I guess, for content. And I'm like, okay. So a lot of stuff for Overwatch 2, which still has no release date, mind you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's still not happening anytime soon, apparently.
You realize you were highlighting? Oh, I am highlighting everything. My
I
bad.
was about to say, you're highlighting. I am over here on a different window for a second.
Why is it clicked on that? Got it.
All right. Well, before we get the releases, I need to step away real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, releases! Like I said on the pre-show, some of these are going to be repeats. For a little bit.
Till the 26th.
Yeah. So we're going to kick off on the 22nd with Anshi on the Switch and Dry Drowning for the Switch. On the 23rd, Bibi and Tina at the Force Farm for PlayStation 4 and Switch. My dog walked in here.
Ah.
He's giving me a look and then he walked away. I was like, I gave you a treat for letting you in. Go lay down. Don't steal books you can't read. Anyway, we also got Curse of the Dead Gods for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. Dinos and Ghosts for Switch. Horned Knight for PlayStation 4. Johnny Bonanza Whole Season for Switch. Persona 5 Strikers for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Rogue Heroes Ruins of Passos for Switch. And Taxi Chaos for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. On the 24th, Active Neurons 3 Wonders of the World for Xbox One. Horned Knight for Xbox One. Iota for Switch. Pumpkin Jack for PlayStation 4. Retrace Memories of Death for Switch. And Werewolf the Apocalypse Heart of the Forest for Xbox One, PlayStation 4. On the 25th, Air, A Journey Beyond Time for Switch. Blasphemous for Switch. Castle Kong for Switch. Clucker for Switch. Code Realize Wintertide Miracles for Switch. Codebreaker Puzzles 1000 English and Jan. I assume that's English and Japanese for Switch. Demon Rides Lords of Chaos for Switch. Dotary for Switch. Forward to the Sky for Switch. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection for Switch. Hellpoint for Switch. Lawnmower Game Racing for Switch. Legal Dungeon for Switch. Littlewood for Switch. Mike Dice for Switch. Moving Out Movers in Paradise for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Republic for Switch. Steam Prison for Switch. Wrath Aeon of Ruin for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch. Underlevers for Switch. And Guard for PlayStation 4. On the 26th, Aktu Showdown for Xbox One. Beyond Enemy Lines Remastered Edition for Xbox One. Bravely Default 2 for Switch. Did they... No, they talked about Bravely Default 2 at the Direct, didn't they?
I think they did.
I feel like they did a reminder that that was coming out.
I can't swear to that, though, but I think they did.
Yeah, they didn't do one for Strikers, but I assume that's because it's a cross-gen title, or a cross-platform title.
Right.
Anyway, Demon Hunters Revelations for Switch, Dungeons and Bombs for Xbox One, Monster Trucks XT Airport Derby for Switch, Retromania Racing for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Thunder Flash for Switch. On the 1st of March, A Glider's Journey for Switch, Control Ultimate Edition for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, Ground Zero Texas Nuclear Edition for PlayStation 4, Harvest Moon One World for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Maquette for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Neptunia Virtual Stars for PlayStation 4, Paco Caravan for Switch, and Yakuza Like a Dragon for PlayStation 5. On the 2nd, 3 out of 10 for Switch, Gravity Fire for Xbox One and Switch, Sir Lovelet for Switch, Under the Jolly Roger for Xbox One, and Wind Peaks for Switch. On the 4th, Ayakashi Romance Reborn, Dawn Chapter, and Twilight Chapter for Switch, Estra Engen The Departure for Switch, Everhood for Switch, Give It Up Bouncy for Switch, Kill It With Fire for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Mail Mole for Switch, Ruinverse for Switch, Sea of Solitude The Director's Cut for Switch, and Task Force Delta Afghanistan for Switch, and finally, on the 5th, As Divine Cross for Xbox One and Series X, and 2 Point Hospital Jumbo Edition for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch. I think I've seen Ty play this. I think it was either him or somebody else I've seen play this game, and it looked pretty good. It was a hospital, like management game, more or less. So my quick draw is just the one picture.
Just the picture.
Yeah, because I got done all of the Legendary 7 plus tackle and charge up emblems. You can't see the rider ones because my light isn't bright enough to like illuminate all of them. I need to get like there's a light I've got stuck on the center of the shelf. I need to get 2 on each side to like make sure there's like even lighting across the entire shelf. But I got them all cut out and done. They all turned out pretty good.
Yeah,
and for those,
it turned out pretty good.
And for those wondering, the first S is stronger, the T is tackle, the second S is stronger charge up. I don't have my stronger and stronger charge up in yet. They're currently at the middleman that I use in their warehouse. I'm waiting for the stuff from Book 4, which is Arc 01 and Arc Scorpion, to get into the warehouse there. Then I'm going to ship everything out. So I'll have the 2 of them plus stronger Spike. Like, hopefully sometime this next week or so.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But for now, I've got V3, Riderman, X, and Amazon with their respective bikes. It's looking pretty good. The only downside is it's on a shelf low enough that my dog may or may not decide to steal something off the shelf if I don't leave it blocked off. He is a little thief when he is in a mood. But that leaves me with my next project being either figure out how to modify the chest for Dorima Fabit that I have to do a Dorima Fabit armor for Poppy, or modify the one I have, because I think I can modify the one I have to work. I just need to shave down a bunch of parts on it to make it fit, because it's not made for the female body. And by female body, I mean Poppy's female body figure. But if I can shave it down some, it might fit on there. It won't be perfect, mind you, but it will be like something if I don't want to like 3D print my own chest and figure out how the fuck to do that. That, in that middleman box is also the Jimba armor. And I have a Ryugen, so I'm going to do Jimba Dragon Fruits Ryugen, which is just, I'm going to get a red, like acrylic marker, and a green acrylic marker, and I'm just going to paint the panels red, and paint the guy hands for the Sonic Arrow green, and be done. Because I don't have the capacity to paint to print stickers, to do replacement stickers for the chest, and for the lock seeds. For now. I also don't know how to like get the scale right for the stickers, but a project for another day.
Fair.
But that's like my next customizing projects. 3D printing wise, I think I'm gonna try to like print that knife from the AI for the Trilobite Magia, see if I can replicate it. Because I have a process in my head that could work. I just need to see if it will actually model correctly. If I get it to work and I can get it to print, I will be incredibly happy, because I'll be like, hey, who wants like all the knives? Who needs all the knives for their Trilobite Magias? Here's all the knives. But after that, if I can get that to print, or get that to model correctly and print, then it's the gun. Because that will be trickier, because it's got all sorts of like dips and stuff in it. So there'll be like 14 different like cuts and extrusions on it to get it to look right. But it's steps in the direction. So yeah, that's my quick draw, folks. That's my update on dumb shit I do while I have all the free time in the world.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah. I still need to read the Ruby novel I have. I got like partway through it, but I didn't finish it off. I need to finish it. It's on my list of things I want to do this year. So it can be off my desk and I can use the space it's taking up for anything else.
Fair.
But you don't have a quick draw, correct?
Correct.
All right, then tomorrow/today, Sunday, the 21st, at our usual time, we're talking more Dragonite, along with me doing some Clue. And talking about how Soto went, hey, you know that big, dumb, stupid suit for Decade? Yep, here you go. Here's the figure for it. Also, do you like those OCSM forms? Here's the other 4 of them. After you all bought all of the first one, and we haven't given it to you just yet, because it's actually not out yet. But you put in a whole ton of pre-orders for it, so we're going to give you the other 4 in, like, sets of 2. And I'm like, cool. Cool, I get cow pants O's. I'm sure you are very confused of why I called it cow pants O's.
Yes and no.
Have I not shown you the OCSM forms?
You might have, but I don't remember them right offhand.
Okay, let me see if I can grab an image of all of them. Perfect. No. There it is.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
For reference, for those wondering, the CSM O's forms are all of the medals that are in the background of Megamax, including Poseidon's medals. Like the top left one, that's O's using Poseidon's medals.
I don't actually have it on screen.
Oh, well, for you, since you're looking at it, that's what it is. But yeah, for like the CSM release of the O's driver for like part of like, well, this is actually a couple years ago, so it wasn't even for the 10th anniversary of O's. They decided that since all these medals technically exist, we're gonna program in sounds for all of them and combo changes, and like full combos for all of them, even though they're not all the same color. And also, one of them is new colors because the bottom right one is the black core medals from Movie War Core. Except they're not black anymore. Yeah, though, I don't know. I don't know the context for why they changed color. And are also now in reverse order.
Reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, we got the Poseidon medals one as like a solo release, but now they're pairing them up like the insect one and the black core medal one are one set, and then the walrus, polar bear, penguin one, and then the deer, gazelle, cow one is a set. And they're going up for pre-order like at some point today. I don't know if like Team Rider and Premium Bandai US are going to get pre-orders for this. I'm going to assume Toe Collectibles will, because they did the pre-order for the first one. So I'll probably just pre-order through them. So yeah, I'll be showing those off tomorrow since they're in the Soto blog, along with Decade Completer form and Geo Decade Saber form, because they're doing both of them at the same time for book 6. They were really glad they got a very budget-friendly figure with that one, because they already did the Decade form, so they're like, ooh, okay, cool. We ain't got to do anything with this except give you a hand to hold ride watches and give you all the stickers so you can decide what ride watch you want Geo to hold. Yeah. Monday is when we'll be doing what we were going to do Friday, which is part-time hunting and maybe achievement, kind of achievement hunting technically with Master Chief Collection and Spartan Ops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll probably do some Splatoon 2 because I'm in the mood to do Splatoon 2 on the pre-show.
Fair.
And then it's our usual stuff for the next week. Thursdays, Chronicles Definitive Edition. Friday will be probably more Master Chief Collection unless we got to reschedule. Saturday will be something.
Saturday will be something. Yes.
And Sunday will be us continuing Dragon Knight. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal at Soon on Twitter gets you updates when we go live. Next page point, Discord and chat gets you Discord link. Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.